In the remote highlands of eastern Turkey, nestled among jagged cliffs and ancient valleys, lies a place shrouded in mystery and legend. A strange, elongated shape juts from the earth, long, curved, and eerily symmetrical. To locals, it's known as the Durupinar Formation. But to many across the globe, it might be something far more profound. The final resting place of Noah's Ark. Could this boat-shaped mound truly be the vessel described in the book of Genesis, the same ark that braved a world-ending flood? Or is it merely an extraordinary coincidence, nature mimicking myth through rock and erosion? These questions have fueled a decades-long fascination, drawing scientists, skeptics, adventurers, and believers alike to this quiet valley near Mount Ararat. This isn't just a search for a legendary ship. It's a deeper quest for truth, for understanding, and for the bridge between science and belief. Recent studies using ground-penetrating radar and soil chemistry have revealed baffling anomalies, chamber-like voids, angular structures, and organic material where there should be none. Could these findings signal something constructed, not formed? We'll explore the story from its origins in the 1950s, when a Turkish army captain first spotted the outline from the sky, to today's high-tech investigations that have the world watching. Along the way, we'll meet researchers risking their reputations to ask questions others won't, and locals who've grown up in the shadow of a legend passed down through generations. Is this just a trick of geology, sculpted by time and tectonics? Or could this formation hold the remains of a structure built to survive the greatest deluge ever told? This is more than an archaeological mystery. It's a crossroads of science, history, and faith. A riddle carved into the mountainside that continues to challenge our understanding of the past. So stay with us, because what lies beneath this ancient hill may not only rewrite a legend, it might redefine how we see the intersection of myth and reality. Let's dig in. In 1959, during what should have been a routine aerial survey over eastern Turkey, Turkish Army Captain İlhan Durupinar noticed something odd, an elongated, boat-shaped outline carved into the rugged terrain near Mount Ararat. The form was massive, stretching over 500 feet in length, and its symmetry was striking. From above, it looked as though an enormous ship had been swallowed by the earth and frozen in time. Curious and intrigued, Durupinar reported the finding to Turkish authorities. Soon, black and white aerial photographs were making the rounds in scientific circles and newsrooms alike. The formation's resemblance to a boat, and not just any boat, but one that matched the biblical proportions of Noah's Ark, sparked immediate and widespread interest. In the early 1960s, a handful of researchers and explorers, both local and foreign, began venturing to the site to study its unique structure. They measured its length, approximately 538 feet, and noted how closely it aligned with the Ark's description in Genesis, which cited a length of 300 cubits. The consistency was uncanny. From a distance, it looked like a ship run aground. Its bow pointed uphill as if caught in a surge of water that had long since receded. The formation was named after Durupinar, and the legend took root. As word spread, international media began to pay attention. Life magazine ran a feature. National Geographic sent photographers. Documentaries aired globally, each one reviving and reshaping the public's fascination with what was now being dubbed the Ark Site. Still, the scientific consensus remained cautious. Many geologists argued that the shape could be explained by natural forces, specifically a synclinal fold caused by tectonic pressure and erosion. They pointed out that strange rock shapes are not uncommon in volatile regions like eastern Turkey. And yet, the symmetry of the formation and its striking location near Mount Ararat kept the speculation alive. For decades, no one could say for sure what lay beneath the surface. But as technology advanced, researchers returned to the site armed with modern tools and a fresh perspective. What they found would propel the Durupinar Formation back into the global spotlight and challenge everything we thought we knew about this ancient mystery. Following the discovery of the Durupinar Formation in 1959, global curiosity took root. What had started as a simple aerial sighting quickly escalated into one of the most enduring archaeological debates of the 20th century. And in the 1960s, interest skyrocketed as media organizations and early explorers descended on the site, each seeking answers to a question as old as civilization itself. Could this strange boat-shaped mound be the final resting place of Noah's Ark? The first major media wave came when the BBC dispatched a documentary team to film at the site. Their broadcast, seen by millions across Europe, showcased the eerie symmetry of the formation and its astonishing dimensions. It didn't take long for other outlets to follow. National Geographic sent their own crew, publishing dramatic photos that lent visual weight to the theory that something monumental, whether natural or man-made, lay buried beneath the hillside. Public fascination exploded. The Durupinar Formation went from an obscure landmark to a global phenomenon almost overnight. Religious groups latched onto the possibility of an Ark discovery, while skeptics raised eyebrows at the growing hype. Into this heated atmosphere stepped one of the site's most vocal and polarizing advocates, Ron Wyatt, an American nurse turned amateur archaeologist. Wyatt claimed to have discovered petrified wood, iron brackets, and even fossilized rib timbers within the formation. His assertions were bold and often dismissed by the scientific community, but his charisma and conviction won him a devoted following. Documentaries, books, and church-sponsored tours began popping up, all revolving around Wyatt's controversial claims. Despite skepticism, the Turkish government took notice. The potential for tourism was obvious. In the 1980s, the area surrounding the Durupinar site was designated as Noah's Ark National Park. Observation platforms were built, and local entrepreneurs began offering guided tours and selling miniature Ark replicas to curious visitors. The park's establishment brought structure to the swelling stream of pilgrims and scientists arriving from across the globe. The 1970s through the 1990s saw a steady flow of expeditions, though few produced concrete results. The site's isolation, extreme weather, and shifting political climate made sustained research difficult. Still, each investigation added new pieces to the puzzle: soil samples, rock cores, and radar imaging that revealed tantalizing shapes beneath the surface. None of it was conclusive, but none of it could be easily explained away either. Throughout these decades, media coverage remained a constant force. Articles appeared in popular science magazines and theological journals alike. Television specials and Sunday morning segments debated the formation's origins, often pitting believers against scientists in lively and sometimes heated exchanges. The debate was no longer confined to religious and academic circles. As the internet emerged, so did forums, blogs, and video platforms where amateur researchers shared drone footage, satellite images, and personal theories. YouTube channels popped up with millions of views on videos speculating about the Ark's true location. Social media took the discussion mainstream, turning the Durupinar Formation into a cultural flashpoint. Some saw it as evidence of divine truth finally unearthed. Others viewed it as another example of pseudo-archaeology exploiting religious sentiment. Still, both sides agreed on one thing: this was no ordinary hill. Whether natural wonder or ancient artifact, the Durupinar Formation demanded attention, and as public pressure mounted, a new generation of researchers equipped with advanced technology began preparing for a deeper investigation, one that would go beyond photos and speculation to probe the very ground itself. By the early 2000s, technological advancements had finally caught up with the curiosity surrounding the Durupinar Formation. For the first time, researchers were able to go beyond surface observations and use advanced tools to peer deep beneath the soil. This marked a turning point in the investigation, one where science would begin to offer concrete data to support or challenge the Ark hypothesis. A coalition of researchers from Istanbul Technical University, Agri Ibrahim Seçen University, and Andrews University in the United States formed a multidisciplinary team. Their mission: to deploy cutting-edge tools, such as ground-penetrating radar, GPR, electrical resistivity tomography, and core drilling techniques to analyze the formation's interior with a level of precision never before possible. GPR was among the first tools used. This non-invasive technology sends radio waves into the ground, capturing echoes that reveal buried structures without disturbing the soil. What emerged on the monitors astonished the team. Beneath the surface lay geometric shapes, parallel lines, right angles, and compartment-like voids. These features weren't consistent with random geological formations. The patterns we saw looked more like ship architecture than anything nature would design, said lead researcher Andrew Jones. To verify these findings, the team employed electrical resistivity scans, another advanced geophysical method. This technology maps underground anomalies by measuring how electrical currents pass through different materials. The resulting images revealed a 3-deck configuration, a central corridor, and even stair-like shapes. Some structures appeared rib-like, curving inward in a shape that mimicked ancient shipbuilding techniques. The consistency between the radar and resistivity results made the evidence difficult to ignore. Meanwhile, core drilling allowed researchers to extract physical samples from within the formation. These samples underwent rigorous laboratory testing. The soil taken from inside the structure was found to contain nearly 3 times more organic matter than the surrounding ground. High levels of potassium, lower pH, and other chemical markers were all consistent with decomposed wood and long-term organic decay. These elements didn't appear in nearby control samples, suggesting that something unique had indeed been preserved beneath the surface. William Crabtree, the project's lead soil scientist, was amazed. The soil inside isn't just different, it's chemically altered in a way that's consistent with the presence of wood, he said. It tells a story of something that once existed here and then broke down over millennia. As the data accumulated, even hardened skeptics began to take notice. While many remained cautious, few could deny that the Durupinar Formation held a number of physical anomalies that warranted serious scientific investigation. The site had graduated from a fringe curiosity to a subject of peer-reviewed research and interdisciplinary study. This moment represented a shift, not just in the quality of the data, but in the nature of the debate itself. The question was no longer, is this Noah's Ark? But rather, what is this, and why does it show so many signs of unnatural structure? Advanced technology was breaking new ground, quite literally. The researchers began planning for more in-depth studies, including 3D modeling, isotopic testing, and potential excavation permits. Yet amid the mounting evidence, the team remained cautious. "We're not here to confirm ancient stories," Jones reiterated, "but we can't ignore what the data is showing us." While ground-penetrating radar and resistivity scans painted an intriguing image beneath the surface, it was the chemical evidence in the soil that began to offer tangible, testable proof of something extraordinary within the Durupinar Formation. The soil samples extracted from inside the boat-shaped mound were immediately sent to multiple independent laboratories for analysis. These labs tested for organic content, mineral composition, acidity, and isotopic ratios, standard procedures in archaeological science, but ones that held particular significance given the biblical context of the site. One of the most striking results was the elevated level of organic material found in the samples. Compared to soil just a few meters away, the material inside the formation contained nearly 3 times more organic matter. This indicated the long-term presence of decaying biological material, such as wood. Lead researcher Andrew Jones, speaking to Fox News Digital, noted that these levels were strong indicators of an ancient, once organic structure now broken down and fused with the surrounding soil. Another key indicator was potassium. Potassium is released as wood decomposes, and the potassium levels inside the formation were significantly higher than in the surrounding environment. This finding was consistent across all samples and correlated with the unusually low pH values recorded at the site. Lower pH levels are typically the result of slow, organic decay, such as what happens when wood deteriorates over centuries. Professor Farooq Kaya, a geologist from Agri Ibrahim Sechen University, emphasized the significance of the acidity measurements. The pH shift and mineral concentration inside the formation suggest a microenvironment completely different from the terrain around it. It's not something you expect to see in untouched geology, he told the Jerusalem Post. Independent researchers used gas chromatography mass spectrometry to dig deeper into the organic composition of the samples. They found lignin derivatives, chemical, compounds found specifically in wood, within the soil. These compounds degrade over time but leave a molecular footprint, and their presence within the formation samples added weight to the idea that what lay beneath had once been a large, wooden structure. Satellite imaging of vegetation patterns added another layer to the findings. The grass and plants growing directly over the Durupinar Formation differed visibly from those in the surrounding landscape. They appeared greener, denser, and healthier, another clue pointing to chemical anomalies underground. In sum, the chemistry beneath the Durupinar Formation told a story of decomposition, age, and transformation. It wasn't just soil, it was a silent record of something once alive and long forgotten. As evidence from the Durupinar Formation accumulated, from soil samples and radar scans to structural analyses, so too did the controversy. While many researchers saw anomalies worth serious investigation, others dismissed the excitement as misplaced enthusiasm fueled by centuries-old myths. Geologists were among the most vocal skeptics. Dr. Lawrence Collins, a respected U.S. geologist, published multiple critiques arguing that the formation was a textbook example of a synclinal fold, a natural depression in layered rock caused by tectonic forces. He pointed to the region's volatile seismic history as a likely explanation for the formation's shape. "It's interesting," he wrote in a scientific journal, "but not supernatural. These kinds of features exist all over the world." Dr. Elena Vasquez, a geobiologist unaffiliated with the project, echoed this view. She argued that elevated organic content could result from decomposing vegetation or buried peat layers, not necessarily an ancient structure. "Extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence," she stated, invoking Carl Sagan's famous maxim. However, other researchers found the data harder to dismiss. Dr. Ahmet Özbek, a Turkish geophysicist, conducted his own GPR analysis and found subsurface features he described as structurally non-random. His team observed parallel lines, compartment-like spaces, and a central corridor over 200 feet long. "Nature doesn't build with right angles," he said in an interview with The Guardian. Adding to the intrigue were reports of limonite rocks, iron-rich stones, containing what appeared to be tool marks or metallic inclusions. Some local villagers claimed they had discovered iron rivets decades ago. While no definitive artifacts have been verified, these stories continue to blur the line between folklore and possible history. The debate extended beyond science into cultural and religious spheres. Local communities around the formation often supported the Ark theory, citing generational stories about the site. Elders in the village of Uzengili shared tales of their ancestors finding unusual metal pieces on the mound. "This story is part of our identity," one elder told BBC Turkey. Despite the skepticism, proponents of the Ark hypothesis pressed on. They argued that the consistency between multiple forms of data, geophysical, chemical, and anecdotal, pointed to more than just coincidence. If this were just a quirk of geology, why does it match the biblical dimensions so closely? Asked Andrew Jones. For now, the Durupinar Formation remains officially unexplained, caught in the crossfire between those demanding more evidence and those who see enough to believe. The debate isn't just about rocks and soil. It's about how we interpret history, and whether ancient stories might still hold secrets science is only beginning to uncover. Beyond the scientific debates and media coverage, the Durupinar Formation holds deep cultural meaning for the people who live in its shadow. For the residents of eastern Turkey, particularly in the nearby village of Uzengili, the boat-shaped mound is not just a curiosity, it's a piece of their heritage, woven into local folklore and daily life. Generations of villagers have passed down stories about the site, long before modern researchers arrived with their radar and soil tests. Elders recount tales of strange iron pieces found embedded in rocks, or of peculiar patterns in the soil that looked man-made. Some even speak of family legends claiming that their ancestors witnessed divine signs or discovered mysterious artifacts on the hillside. These narratives, while impossible to verify, give the Durupinar Formation a spiritual gravity that resonates deeply with locals. This land has always been special, says Mehmet Yildiz, a farmer whose family has lived in the region for over a century. We've always believed something happened here, something important. The government has capitalized on this cultural energy. In the 1980s, Turkey designated the area around the formation as Noah's Ark National Park. Tourist facilities were constructed, including a visitors center, observation decks, and walking trails. Local guides were trained to share both the scientific facts and the folklore, giving visitors a holistic understanding of the site's mystery and meaning. Tourism has since become a vital part of the local economy. Shops sell miniature arks, T-shirts, and handcrafted replicas of ark stones. Religious pilgrims from around the world journey to the site with reverence, often treating their visit as a form of spiritual pilgrimage. At the same time, more secular travelers come driven by curiosity, seeking a brush with ancient legend. Teachers in regional schools use the site as a living classroom, blending science and cultural studies into field trips. It teaches our children about history, faith, and geology all at once, says Karahan. It makes learning personal. Whether or not it holds the remains of Noah's Ark, the Durupinar Formation inspires awe, connection, and reflection. For locals and visitors alike, it's a story still unfolding. As technology peeled back the layers of the Durupinar Formation, the findings became increasingly difficult to ignore. The radar scans showed symmetrical chambers, soil chemistry pointed to long-decayed organic matter. Resistivity scans revealed depth, structure, and curvature, all eerily consistent with shipbuilding techniques used in antiquity. For many involved in the investigation, it began to feel less like speculation and more like revelation. One of the most compelling discoveries came from thermal imaging and sonar scans conducted in the early 2020s. These tools detected a sealed chamber beneath the central corridor of the formation. Unlike the surrounding Earth, this void exhibited characteristics of artificial design: uniform temperature gradients, structural resistance, and even metallic anomalies that hinted at possible human craftsmanship. Lead researcher Andrew Jones described the moment with reverence. We saw something unexpected, something precise. Not just dirt or rock, but a chamber. It's the most compelling data set we've collected to date. The implications of this sealed space were staggering. Was it a hold, a shelter, a relic chamber left untouched for thousands of years? Researchers were cautious not to leap to conclusions, but the idea that something man-made might have survived beneath layers of time gripped both public imagination and academic interest. Among the most debated findings was the presence of rib-like substructures seen in the scans, which appeared to arch along the base of the formation. These patterns mirrored the structural supports found in large wooden vessels. As global attention intensified, the team remained grounded. "We're not trying to validate any one narrative," said William Crabtree. "We're here to follow the science, but that science is pointing us towards something extraordinary. Plans are underway for cautious exploration using fiber optics, cameras, and micro-drilling, with preservation at the forefront. The Durupinar Formation is no longer just a legend frozen in stone. It is a living question, challenging assumptions, stirring belief, and demanding further exploration. Whatever lies beneath its surface, one thing is certain. We are closer than ever to uncovering a story thousands of years in the making.